I love this work. It's dangerous. You give your life to it. And like all novice speechwriters, I'm just trying to be funny. The truth is, I'm proud of all of my collaborations. The work that this is about has set my life free. Confounds me. I'm a romantic. I feel these things matter. These little patterns that we are.
Once a Hollywood titan with an unmistakable grin and larger-than-life charm, Jack Nicholson hasn't been seen in public in years. Fans have grown concerned as the three-time Oscar winner, now 87, lives out his days quietly in Los Angeles. Once a courtside staple at Laker games and a fixture at star-studded events, he now spends most of his time alone inside his Mulholland Drive estate. A Hollywood legend retreats from the spotlight. Jack Nicholson's absence from the public eye has become one of Hollywood's most noticeable silences. Known for his unforgettable performances in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, The Shining, and Chinatown, Nicholson was once one of the most visible and vocal stars in the industry. For decades, he lit up the screen with roles that showcased his edge, intensity, and humor. Off-screen, he was a lively personality, often seen courtside at Lakers games, attending industry events, or enjoying dinner in Beverly Hills with friends. But over the last decade, his public appearances have sharply declined. His last acting role came in 2010's How Do You Know, and since then, he's turned down all film offers. Sources close to him say he's lost interest in working, choosing instead to live quietly. While many assumed this was part of a well-earned retirement, his prolonged reclusiveness has sparked concern. Friends say Nicholson rarely leaves his Mulholland Drive compound. Once surrounded by actors, musicians, and producers, his life now consists of quiet days spent mostly alone. He reportedly spends his time watching old films, reading, and occasionally stepping out into his backyard. Gone are the days of red carpets and interviews. He prefers privacy now, and many believe it's tied to deeper personal and health-related struggles. To his neighbors and the wider public, Jack has become a mystery. In a city built on visibility, his retreat stands out. While reclusiveness is not unheard of among other celebrities, his complete withdrawal from public life feels especially profound given how much he once thrived in the limelight. Before we continue, have you ever wondered how action stars like Chuck Norris stay in shape in their old age? We were recently sent a video that he made, and we couldn't believe our eyes. At 85 years old, Chuck Norris is still staying active, working out, and kicking butt. What's even crazier is he says he still feels like he's in his 50s, with more strength and endurance than he had in his prime. He even has plenty of energy left over for his grandkids. He achieved all of this by making just one change, and after seeing his results, his wife started doing it too. She says she feels 10 years younger, her body is leaner, and she has energy that lasts all day. Chuck personally made a video that explains everything, which you can see at chuckdefense.com/facts, or by clicking the link below this video. You won't believe how simple his secret is. Just go to chuckdefense.com/facts or click on the link in the description, and it'll completely change the way you think about your health. At 85 years old, the legendary Chuck Norris has more energy than men half his age. Once he discovered the 3 things that sabotage our body as we age, he was able to find a solution that he now credits with transforming his health. See his method for yourself by clicking the link in the description below or visiting chuckdefense.com/facts. Concerns about his health and memory. One of the most persistent and saddening theories behind Jack Nicholson's retreat is the reported decline in his cognitive health. Though never confirmed publicly by Nicholson or his family, several sources have suggested he may be experiencing symptoms consistent with memory loss or dementia. Close friends have spoken anonymously about changes they've noticed in recent years: forgetfulness, confusion, and signs of isolation that go beyond personal preference. A source quoted in multiple reports said, quote, "There's a reason he doesn't leave his house anymore. Physically, he's fine, but his mind is gone." This statement, while stark, reflects the unease that many feel about his well-being. There have been no formal statements from Nicholson's camp, but the silence itself has only intensified the speculation. There's a reason why he doesn't leave his house anymore. Physically, he's fine, but his mind is gone. This statement, while stark, reflects the unease many feel about his well-being. There have been no formal statements from Nicholson's camp, but the silence itself has only intensified the speculation. It's not uncommon for actors to quietly withdraw as their health declines, but for someone as dynamic and socially active as Nicholson once was, this shift feels particularly heavy. He was never just a movie star, he was part of Hollywood's social core. He thrived on being around people, and he was often described as sharp, witty, and full of energy. The thought of him now struggling to remember or connect in the way he once did is hard for fans and friends alike. There have been no photos of Nicholson at public events in years. Even paparazzi, who once followed his every move, rarely catch glimpses of him now. His last major public sighting was years ago at a Lakers game. Since then, he's been entirely out of view. Some insiders have said he still sees family, including his son Ray, from time to time, but even those visits are said to be quiet and private. There's a strong sense of protection around him, both from those who care for him and from the media, which seems to have respected his decision to withdraw. For someone who gave so much to cinema, there is a quiet dignity in being allowed to age privately. Still, the rumors about his health cast a long shadow. The role of aging in isolation.
Can you remember the time in your own childhood or adolescence when you formulated the desire to be an actor? Was there a point, someone you saw or someone who influenced you?
Well, no, I would say it was a gradual thing, as it probably is with most people. It's an unusual choice of occupation for a sort of centrally placed male American. You know, when you're out there in New Jersey, you don't suddenly pop up in the middle of your football practice and say, yes, I'm going to be an actor. It doesn't do it that way. I probably really started thinking about doing it.
As Jack Nicholson has grown older, the natural toll of aging seems to have played a large part in his decision to stay out of public life. He turned 87 this year, and with that age comes a list of physical and emotional adjustments. For someone who once thrived in loud, fast-paced environments, the stillness of old age can feel like an unexpected ending. Once surrounded by the excitement of film sets, press events, and packed arenas, Nicholson now spends much of his time in solitude. Friends and insiders say the isolation was gradual. At first, he simply accepted fewer invitations. Then he stopped attending Lakers games. Eventually, even the occasional dinner outings ceased. While aging actors often step away from the limelight, Nicholson's complete retreat stands out. He reportedly prefers his privacy now, and the once loud social star has become almost invisible to the public. Once surrounded by the excitement of film sets, press events, and packed arenas, Nicholson now spends much of his time in solitude. Friends and insiders say the isolation was gradual. At first, he simply accepted fewer invitations. Then he stopped attending Laker games. Eventually, even the occasional dinner outing ceased. While aging actors often step away from the limelight, Nicholson's complete retreat stands out. He reportedly prefers his privacy now, and the once loud social star has become almost invisible to the public. Living alone in a large home can be peaceful, but it can also deepen feelings of isolation. Some have expressed concerns that without regular interaction, the mind can decline more quickly. Those close to him suggest that his isolation isn't entirely by choice, it's part of what aging has brought and possibly worsened by cognitive issues. Yet there's another side to the story. Those who have known him say Nicholson has always been fiercely independent. He values control and privacy. It's possible he's chosen to step away on his own terms. But aging in silence, with whispers of health struggles and no clear answers, leaves many feeling uneasy. To fans who remember his lively charm and magnetic presence, the idea of Jack Nicholson alone in a quiet home feels like an echo of a voice they're not ready to stop hearing. Family ties and who still sees him. Although Jack rarely appears in public, he hasn't completely cut off contact with the people closest to him. Sources say he remains in touch with a few trusted friends and family members, particularly his children. His youngest son, Ray Nicholson, an actor in his own right, is said to visit him regularly. The bond between father and son remains intact, even if their time together is far more private than it once was. Nicholson has 6 children from different relationships, though he's always kept the details of his family life quiet. Those who have spoken about him say he still values his children deeply. While he may not speak publicly, his connections to them haven't disappeared. The family appears to have circled around him protectively, keeping his privacy intact while making sure he's not entirely alone. Old friends like Lou Adler are also believed to stay in touch. Nicholson's inner circle has shrunk over the years, but it hasn't vanished. Most of those who remain are longtime companions who understand his need for quiet and respect his space. Despite that, even the people closest to Nicholson have described his withdrawal as worrying. Some feel helpless, unsure of how to help as he becomes less responsive to the outside world. There are no formal caregivers mentioned in reports, but it's likely he has assistance at home, given his age and possible memory concerns. His friends and family rarely speak on the record about him, which has only deepened the mystery. The loyalty and silence suggest a desire to protect him, but it also leaves fans with unanswered questions. For a man who once lived so boldly and openly, this quiet chapter of his life feels distant and heavy. Yet within that silence, his loved ones seem to be giving him what he may need most now: space, dignity, and peace. The public response to his absence has been marked by a mixture of concern, respect, and sadness. Many fans have taken to social media over the years to share their hopes of his well-being and their appreciation for his work. His name often trends without any news at all, just fans reminiscing about his legendary performances and wondering aloud how he's doing. Now it's time to hear from you. What are your favorite of his roles? Let us know in the comments section below.